Welcome to the Smart Black Girl Podcast. Who am I? You know, just an average smart black girl. Hello and welcome back. Today I will discuss why I named my podcast The Smart Black Girl. It has been a part of my identity for most of my life. In school and at home, I was the smart little girl. It was a title that I fully identified with because it was the part of me that was celebrated. I was also celebrated for my looks, but we have already done an episode about that. Take a listen to Lens or Filter if you're interested. Anyway, I was going to use my brain to make our lives better. My family expected me to go to college and succeed. Because of what I was told, I equated smart with myself. I would obsess over homework and perfect grades. I even corrected my teachers at times. When I ran out of things to do in class, I would lose myself in a book. It was easy for me because I loved to read. It was fun and took me to a million worlds. I saw myself in everything that I read. I loved reading from the perspective of how I would experience life as a character in each book. I imagined the books as my life and would identify as the smart character in my books. Then there was a twist in my life. I got moved to a school where I was no longer just the smart little girl, but now I was the smart black girl. I moved to the suburbs and my school went from being mostly black to mostly white. It was a small identity shift, but one that I was okay with. So here I am, the smart black girl, aka the nerdy black girl. In school, I participated in academic programs with another girl, and we both won award after award. I didn't think there was anything wrong with my black identity until I won an award over the other little girl. She cried out, "Why did the black girl get my award?" I realized that black wasn't always a compliment. At this point, I was in high school. I found myself transferred once again, but this time to a high school with a majority of black students. At this point in my life, I had created biases based on my skin color. My new school was also nicknamed the fight school in our area. So I was terrified. I was a preppy little black girl about to transfer to the scary school. I begged to be transferred to a different school where I felt I would fit in better as an Oreo. You know, white on the inside, black on the outside. Despite being dark-skinned, I had a bias about people with light versus dark skin. In addition, I had biases regarding who was considered smart and who was not. But in the end, I ended up at the fight school where I met some of the greatest people that I know. In college, however, I was not the smart black girl. No. I was surrounded by smart black girls who seemed to have it all together. And in this setting, I was just average. My identity was shattered. How was I supposed to succeed now? It was not an issue of there being other smart black girls. It was that I was also a first-generation college student. I had no mentors or understanding of how to balance school, activities, sports, and a social life. I hadn't gotten the memo on how to function in a college setting. It seemed to me like everyone around me was doing it perfectly, while I was having an existential crisis because the only thing that I knew to be fact about myself was now threatened. I became a victim of comparison. All I could think of was how I didn't compare to my peers. The funny thing is that I hadn't considered whether or not my peers were struggling as well. I became isolated in my understanding of my struggle. I assumed that everyone around me knew something that I didn't, which is why no one else was struggling. I felt like I had lost my purpose. I had identified with being the smart black girl because it made me feel valued. I felt love from everyone when I was smart. People would be excited to talk to me, my family would say how great I would be in life, but now I was just average. All of the other black girls around me had it together and I was floundering. Well, who am I now? I'm just an average smart black girl and this is my diary. I am discovering things as I go and I am bringing you with me. So my smarticle particles, what was your identity? Leave a comment below, bringing us to the end of this episode. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, my lovely smarticle particles, stay smart, stay blessed, and keep shining.